Well, like Dave said, it's time to go hunting. He's been field testing the swivel limb for the past couple of years, but here's one time he didn't use one and wishes he had.
Believe how he came up? Boy, he just came running up to that rattle. See what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a stand up in this area, I think, and really hunt this. He was hot to trot. I just didn't have enough cover here. I should have had a little more cover. He still didn't know what was going on, but he wasn't too happy with it anyhow.
A few days later, Dave wises up and installs a swivel limb.
Good tree stand that we use. And it's called a swivel limb. What they use here at Buckhaven. I've really been impressed with these things. It's amazing what they do. You know, we've been using them, and well, they're so adaptable. Is what's nice about them. They got all these positions. You got like 1,200 positions you can use on the tree stand. You can put them on a tree going out sideways. You can stand them up, do them every which way you want to do it. Work out pretty nice. They're nice and lightweight and portable, easy to get into the woods with. So I really enjoy using those tree stands too in here. Well, I'm gonna walk down here now and see if we can get some of these acres.
There's been a great acorn crop this year, and the deer are feeding heavily on them now. Dave checks them out, then returns to the swivel limb a couple of days later. It doesn't take long before a big buck is spotted heading toward him. The buck is in dense cover, and Dave waits for a clear shot. The buck turns away just as Dave was ready to shoot. You should never take a chancy shot at any game animal. Always wait for a good one or don't shoot at all.
He's sitting here. Oh, man. Whew. My arm is numb, holding that dadgum bow. He stood there. Those acorns are all over the place over there. Oh, man, I'm sitting here. My heart's beating so fast, I got light splashed in my eyes. Oh, God, man, there's just nothing like that feeling. Oh. Well, I think this is him. Well, that looks like a pretty good exit hole to me. Look at his neck. Ugh. Look at the size of his neck. Think that old boy wasn't rutting? Man, that won't make good sausage even.
What a great buck from the swivel limb. In this case, you can see how the swivel limb can also work on regular tree trunks. However, the real advantage of the swivel limb is in its ability to mount in big branchy trees and onto tree limbs. Hunting from big branchy trees really pays off with big bucks. The swivel limb allows you to hunt from trees in which other stands just won't work, like large oaks, elms, willows, or pines with big trunks and lots of limbs and branches. Limbs and branches that give you lots of cover that allow you to get away with a little movement, like drawing your bow or aiming your rifle. And you'll feel more comfortable hunting from a tree with lots of limbs around you. Before swivel limb, the only way you could hunt from these big old trees was to build a stand or sit on an uncomfortable limb. Right, Dave?
That's exactly right. You see, deer hunters are a lot more educated today than they were, say, even 10 years ago, with all the great videos and great magazine ads coming out now to tell hunters more about how to go about finding deer and especially locating big bucks. We need tree stands today that are more portable because we need to go to areas that we can get to the big bucks. If we go find them, then we got to be able to hunt them. Just say, for example, say it's noon today and we've gone scouting and we found this nice scrape right here, okay? As you can see, it's a very fresh scrape. It's just been done, probably this morning sometime. The wind hasn't blown the scrape marks in, and the limb's freshly broken here. We know that a big buck is using this area and it hasn't been very long ago. We need to hunt where the deer are today, not where they were at yesterday or the day before or last week. We've got to be able to move, and change with the deer. Deer are very unpredictable in where they'll go, and especially when they're in the rut. So it's very important to be able to locate a good area and then be able to hunt it. Now, with most tree stands, we look around us here, there are not a lot of good trees for your typical, quote, climbing tree stands or your strap-on stands of that type because, as you can see, these type trees are gnarly, they're big, branchy trees. They're great to hunt from, but they're very hard to put a portable stand in. We just found this at noon today. We want to hunt it tonight or in the morning, so we need to put a stand up today. So if I look around here, I'm seeing where the swivel limb will go. Well, it'll go that nice, big, branchy, bushy tree right there. Or we can get the one that's right behind it over to the right here. Or if we walk back over this way, we can even see a very nice one right here to give us a nice spot through here. Almost virtually every tree that we see in sight will use a swivel limb tree stand. And we'll show you now exactly where we'll set it up, and we'll be ready to set up on this buck come the evening. Well, there we've got it. That's all there is to it, and putting the swivel limb up. We're only 4 steps away from where the scrape was. We could have built a permanent stand here, but then we would have made a lot of noise, and would the deer be here, whenever we got through with the stand? And if so, how long would they stay here before they moved on somewhere else? We could also just sit on a limb. But could we sit there long enough comfortably until a deer came along? Would it be long enough? And if we didn't manage to stay there long enough, could we actually get into a position to shoot once the deer happened to come into view? And if you were to use one of those big permanent stands, you just have to hope that you'd get lucky and hope some dumb deer just happen to walk by while you're sitting in it. Sure, they're nice and comfortable, but they're not very productive for big bucks. If you want big bucks, you got to go where they are today, not where they were yesterday or the day before. And we're ready with the swivel limb.
That's right, Dave. If you want a big buck, you have to stay concealed and be where the deer are. True portability and big branchy trees are the answer. Just look at where the swivel limb is being installed. It's up in a big branchy tree out on a limb. A great place to be when a big buck shows up, don't you think? Do you think any other type of tree stand would work here? Just look how simple it is to install. In a matter of seconds, it's securely strapped to the tree limb. the arm and seat leveled using just a couple of its more than 1,200 positions. And the safety lanyard installed to the tree. You're sitting comfortably and ready to hunt a full 360 degrees in no time at all, and with virtually no noise. Hanging stands certainly won't work since they won't fit around a large tree or even a skinny tree trunk like this one, and they certainly won't work on an angled or horizontal limb. Just try putting this one up next to the swivel limb and you're going to find it impossible. Swivel limbs go where no other tree stands will work. Conventional climbing stands certainly won't work either because you simply can't climb a tree with limbs, and they can normally only be installed on tree trunks from 6 to 18 inches in diameter. And how effective is hunting on a skinny tree with no limbs? How many big bucks are also dumb? Just getting all the screws, bolts, and nuts together is a chore in itself and takes too long. The nuts are always falling off and getting lost, and boy, are they noisy too. Just trying to get those heavy, bulky monsters up most good trees just won't work since most good trees have lots of big, branchy limbs to provide cover to hide in. Climbing stands are only good for telephone pole type trees. And who wants to be sticking out like a big out-of-place blob when that big buck decides to show up? That's why everyone's so excited about the new swivel limb. It's a tree limb stand and will work in any big old branchy tree. Do you know any other tree stand that would work on this fantastic tree limb? We'll show you how the swivel limb works, but first, let's go with Dave on his next hunt. Well, a polar bear hunt in the northern Canadian Arctic isn't exactly the place you'd expect to need a tree stand, but Dave's just returned from a couple of great hunts up there and wishes now that he'd brought along his swivel limb. It's in the small Inuit village of Clyde River on Baffin Island near the coast of Greenland that Dave teams up with friends George Aldridge and Hanley Sayers. After a quick meeting with the wildlife conservation officer for licenses and tags, it's off across the frozen ocean by traditional dog sled. Even with its extreme cold and hardships, the Arctic can be a place of extreme beauty, especially at midnight in May. It doesn't take long before the action begins.
We have been camped here tonight on the edge of the floe ice, which is out here behind me, and waiting to midday for the temperature to cool down, for the ice to harden up enough where the dogs can run efficiently pulling the sleds. In the meantime, Abraham, our lead guide, had gone out to try to find a couple seals for the dogs. He came back in a hurry just a moment ago, saying that he'd sighted a couple of very large bears, which we're scurrying around right now trying to go out and take a look at. Abraham's out here hooking the dog team up as we speak. So we're going to get going here as quickly as we can and go out and take a look at these two bruins and see if they might make the cut.
The dogs are all attached to the sled using their special harnesses. These dogs live for this adventure and are usually more excited about catching up with a big polar bear than the guides and hunters are. It doesn't take long before the hunters are on their way after the bears. After about 10 miles, the big bear's finally sighted casually walking a couple of miles away as the hunters try to catch up. As the sled gets closer to the big bear, Dave gets into the sled with Hanley to try to get some close-up footage of this 10-foot bear. Concentrating on looking through the camera viewfinder, he loses his footing and off the sled he goes.
You okay?
If only he'd brought his swivel limb and attached it to the sled. Oh well, at least he recovered and got all the action of the chase. As the dogs close in, Hanley makes a perfect broadside shot with his .416 and the huge bear rolls but is right back up on its feet. Hanley finally steps off the sled for a steadier shot. and puts another round through the bear to finish him off before any dogs or people get hurt.
Well, Abraham, thank you again.
You're welcome.
A very, very good hunt. For the benefit of the camera, let's talk a little bit about what we've done. Following up on a conversation that I think David recorded as we were flying out of camp, Abraham had gone out to find some seal meat to feed the dogs. And while he was traveling around trying to do that, he came across a track and then saw this big boar and a female that were traveling together. He rushed back to camp and we harnessed the dogs and took off. How far had we come?
About 12 miles.
And we tracked the bear about 12 miles, caught sight of it, probably 3 or 4 miles back, and then spent the rest of the time closing. The bear was not going to stop. The dogs didn't bother it at all, and it's probably going to be able to see on the film. Really just had to shoot the bear before the dogs got hurt. So, Abraham, what do you think? Tell us what you think about the bear. Abraham is 44 years old and has lived here all of his life. He has shot 28 bears?
Yeah, 28.
28 bears in his lifetime, and is one of the things that he enjoys most in life. He and his friends and relatives live in Clyde River, have lived there for generations. Mm-hmm. In the fall, they hunt bear and seal, caribou, and then in the summer, in the spring and summer, they fish. We've had some wonderful camps. We kind of came expecting that there was going to be a real hardship with respect to freeze-dried food and things of that nature, but Abraham has taken very good care of us, and we've had fresh fish that we thawed out and cooked at night. We've had nice tea every day when it got cold, which has been almost every day. This is, in fact, the prettiest day we've had. So I can't thank you enough, and HTA and all your friends, and for a wonderful hunt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, why did you keep falling off the dog sled? Maybe you should have attached a swivel limb to the sled and fastened your seatbelt, huh? I'll bet next time he won't leave home without his swivel limb. Well, now let's show you how easy the swivel limb is to use. First, pick out where you want to mount your swivel limb. You can install it onto any tree trunk or tree limb from 4 to 30 inches in diameter. Pick a place in the tree that gives you a clear shot and a place to rest your feet. If you're using it on a pole tree, you can swivel the seat to face the tree and install 2 tree steps for footrests. For the purpose of clearly showing you the installation process, we will be installing this swivel limb on the trunk of a tree near the ground. You'll notice the ratchet binder has a safety release trigger which must be pulled to release. The binder cannot be released accidentally. Once you've released the safety trigger, open the handle all the way. You'll notice that you can now slide the strap through the binder to give you more or less material to wrap around the tree. Also, notice the spring-loaded catch on the hook at the end of the strap that prevents accidental unhooking. Take a look at the specially designed base which mounts on the tree with its rows of gripping teeth. They'll guarantee an absolutely rock-solid hold on any tree limb or trunk. After opening the binding handle completely and pulling enough material through, wrap the strap around the limb. Attach the hook to the binder by pressing the spring-loaded catch and slipping the hook into the fastener. Next, pull the slack through the binder and use the special ratchet to secure the swivel limb to the tree limb. Now you simply adjust the swivel limb at its 3 pivot points for level seating. First, swing the arm out until it's level with the ground and slide the pin into one of the 3 holes. Then, slide the seat out to a comfortable position at one of the first 3 holes in the arm and slide the pin completely through the arm and screw it in completely. Finally, pivot the seat until it's level. Install the pin, and that's all there is to it. There's also an optional camo cover to place over the swivel limb to hide it and protect it from the weather when not in use. Just raise the arm upright and slip the cover over the top. The unique adjustment pins are connected permanently to the stand so they can't accidentally fall to the ground. And all the cables are wrapped in clear plastic. You'll also be pleasantly surprised to see the lack of lots of nuts and bolts, which are noisy, inconvenient, and easy to lose. Most of the big, bulky, heavy tree stands on the market today require extensive assembly with lots of parts, including nuts, bolts, wires, and of course pages of instructions and warnings. You want to spend the first few hours with your new tree stand reading directions and trying to get it all together? The swivel limb comes delivered to you fully assembled and ready to use. After you've installed the swivel limb, simply climb into the seat. Fasten your seat belt and safety lanyard, and wait for the big one. It's that fast and that easy. The base of the swivel limb pivots into 27 different positions, and the seat itself pivots into 15 positions. These positions, along with the 3 positions on the arm, combine to let you adjust the swivel limb into an incredible 1,200 different mounting positions to assure a level seat anywhere in the tree. Here are just a few possible mounting positions that the swivel limb makes possible. It really is quite an ingenious piece of equipment and very different from any other tree stand. That's why the U.S. Patent Office gave it a utility patent on its very first submission. Well, now that you've seen how the swivel limb works, let's go see it in action again. This time, let's go with Dave as he takes a fantastic buck, still in velvet. He's already installed the swivel limb in a big forked tree and is ready for some action.
I don't ever like to sit in the stand too long. A lot of people want to sit in the stand all day long, whatever. I don't. I sit in the morning for a little bit, and of course, my favorite time again is mid-morning. I guess when there's more bucks activity going on than any other time, especially during the rut. We don't have a rut right now. We're way early in the season, of course, so I'm not worried too much about that. We'll just get ready and see what happens.
A few hours later, he gets lucky, and this beautiful buck appears from the dense woods behind him. Let's watch this again. The buck is so close he doesn't really have time to jump the string, but he sure jumps high when the arrow strikes.
Oh man, what a deer, what a deer. This guy, he's in the velvet. All my life I've looked for a deer. I wanted a deer in the velvet, and here he comes right underneath my tree. Oh man, I tell you, it's, you know, I shot a lot of deer, but that is my first velvet buck. Oh, jeez. right by the tree stand like that. It was, he walked by here, I was shaking so damn bad I couldn't hold my string hardly. And he stopped. When he stopped right behind that little bunch of trees right here. And I had this bunch of trees right here. And luckily, when he was back behind me, I thought about shooting when he came over here. So I actually pushed down this tree and lowered these limbs so I'd have a better shot here if I got lucky enough for him to come. I really thought when he was back there, I thought he was going to head back out across that field, back over towards that old alfalfa patch over there. But man, I'm telling you, I'm like this. This is fantastic. He is not, what's he, 50 yards at the most away. And you see his reaction when he got hit by a bow. I'm telling people don't believe you. A bow will kill better than a rifle, and it don't even scare the guy. You know, they just think that, you know, a limb fell off of a tree or something. And you don't know how many times I've had animals that react that way to a bow. They just like nothing happened. Just, you know, a sound in the woods and, you know, a little something. I don't think they even feel a whole lot of like pain or anything like that. When you put them down like that quick, you know, that's what it's all about. I see the arrow just sticking in the ground right there, but I'm not going to have to worry about a blood trail on this one. Oh, there's a door now. Let's go check him out. Oh, gosh. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. What a beautiful buck. Look how big he is. This is the best part of all. Just look at this velvet. Look at that. He's getting hard, I guess, but he's still in the velvet. Beautiful deer. My gosh, this is really, you know, I like to say I've shot a lot of deer and I've hunted a lot of animals. And this was one of the things that I always wanted to try to do, was just be lucky enough to hunt early enough in the season and to be able to find one that still had the velvet on it. You can be sure this one will be hanging on my wall in the velvet like this. Just look at him, it's gorgeous. Look at his brow tines. He comes up, this one's coming up over here like this. This one's almost touching this one over here. God, just look at the massiveness of this buck. He's huge. He's getting his winter hair all in. See, he's still got a lot of his summer hair. That's just reddish, just falling out. This is the exit hole here. He was standing this way, so this is where it came out, so he was angled just a little bit. Oh, man, I tell you, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. I'm about to go see how old Bart did. I bet you he ain't going to match this today. It's fantastic. Let's go find Bart.
Another great buck from a swivel limb. It was designed with the help of DuPont engineers and is made of a unique material called DuPont Zytel. This stuff is extremely strong. It has a tensile strength of 27,000 pounds, and its impact strength exceeds that of aluminum. The entire swivel limb was tested by the United States Testing Company and loaded to 3,850 pounds without failure or distortion of any of the parts, straps, or metal hardware. This means it could hold the equivalent of a Chevy Suburban without failure. This thing is built, yet the swivel limb weighs only 10 3/4 pounds and is easy to carry using its built-in handle, or it can be thrown over your shoulder by using the seatbelt strap. It's so compact that it'll even fit into most day packs. And it's quiet. Most tree stands on the market today are made of cold, noisy aluminum. When aluminum touches other aluminum, or your bow or your gun, it makes a deer-alarming tinny sound and can even be noisy when boots drag across it. DuPont Zytel, unlike aluminum or steel, isn't tinny and won't clang and rattle if you accidentally hit it with your weapon. And we all know how important being quiet is when hunting big game. DuPont Zytel is also sun and weather resistant, and it affords a useful load rating of 325 pounds from 20 degrees below zero all the way up to 150 degrees above. Speaking of 20 degrees below zero, let's go back up north as Dave's good friend and hunting partner, Randy Dieter, bags a huge old polar bear. One of the Eskimo guides was sitting up on top of an iceberg and spotted the bear, and he's walking directly towards the hunters.
Well, Jordan, what do you think?
Pretty good bear, yeah.
Yeah, great bear.
Yeah.
So
Pretty good bear.
we saw him and told me he was coming around the corner. He hit that corner and he was bear all the way. It just
Never let it up.
just kept coming. Don't think he knew we were there.
Yeah.
Took him by surprise.
There's another one sleeping right there.
So followed these tracks that other one had made earlier, coming on the same track right along the lead here. Might be that bear over there, but he's coming the same way. Fortunately, we were in the right position at the right time.
Yep.
Let the weather clear, sun come out, and
Right on.
eye to eye with a polar bear.
Sir.
We better take another look at this. The first shot blows away a chunk of ice which is directly in front of Randy's barrel. However, it's under his line of sight as he looks through his scope and he can't see it. The bear just looks up trying to locate his next meal when Randy makes a great shot and puts him down for good. I wonder if the swivel limb would have installed around one of these ice blocks. You may be wondering if you can stand up while hunting from a swivel limb. The answer is yes, but you'll find that you really don't need to. Swivel limb comes with a safety seat belt that connects you to the swiveling seat. This is such a comfortable position that you'll find it's easy to shoot from, since the stand itself doesn't get in the way. You can easily draw your bow and swivel 360 degrees. Swivel limb also comes with a safety lanyard that you should use at all times. It connects you to the tree so that if you want to release the seat belt and stand up, you can do so safely. As with all portable tree stands, tree steps can be used to climb trees safely and quickly. We suggest the strap-on kind since they won't damage the tree like screw-in steps might. Also, some states or landowners may prohibit the use of the screw-in type. Another feature of the swivel limb that is really incredible is the silent swiveling seat. But first, we want you to see how important this feature can be. So let's go now with Hollywood celebrity Marshall Teague to Canada for Black Bear with a Spear. Probably best known for his role as the bad guy opposite Patrick Swayze in the film Roadhouse, Marshall also has appeared in such programs as Walker, Texas Ranger, MacGyver, Quantum Leap, The A-Team, Babylon 5, Columbo, and has a recurring role on daytime TV's Days of Our Lives.
That's rough.
Marshall has always liked to get outdoors to hunt and fish, but he especially loves the challenge of a good hunt. Besides being a deputy sheriff, avid mountain climber, and scuba diver, Marshall also holds a black belt in 4 different forms of martial arts. This may come in handy today for Marshall since he's going to attempt to be the first person to ever spear a black bear. And all from the swivel limb. On the northern end of the province of Saskatchewan lies the small village of La Ronge. From here, a short float plane trip will take Marshall to Black Bear Island Lake Lodge on Black Bear Island Lake, where he'll team up with his friends Earl McKelkey, veteran guide and lodge owner, and Sharon McKelkey, his lovely wife. Together, they'll go after the exciting and sometimes dangerous black bears of Canada.
Well, Marshall, we've been planning this for a couple of years, planning to do the impossible.
Yep.
And we finally have arrived here at Black Bear Island Lake Lodge in beautiful La Ronge, Saskatchewan, Canada.
That is
home
beautiful.
of the biggest, baddest, most abundant black bears in the world.
No question.
And it's quite beautiful here, isn't it?
It is gorgeous. So the loons, you know, when we came in, it was the sound of the loons is just out of this world, yeah.
We're going to do what we talked about. We hunted a couple years ago down in South Texas with old Jerry Campbell, and we did some wild stuff here with this. This is our original spear that we speared wild boars with, and we've been contemplating on how to spear a black bear with this wickedly looking thing here that worked very well on our wild boars.
And we're told we're crazy.
That's right.
That's right.
You just get quit. You tell people you're going to do that. We're going to hunt black bear. Oh, really? With a bow or no, with spears. And look at you like, right, yeah.
Yeah, sure you are.
Yeah, that's right. But we've been sort of planning this out, thinking it out, and we think we've got it worked out, the strategy on how to do this. And of course, we're going to be using our swivel limb tree stands here. And the thing that, what we've talked about being the most important thing with the black bear is quiet. Their sense of hearing is one of their best assets that they've got. Their smell and their hearing is their best, their eyesight is their last. So we're going to try to install the swivel limb close up like we talked about next to the bait stand where they can come in and then try to have a good position to come with little motion as possible down.
I think the phrase that you used was up close and personal.
Yeah, very.
Very up close and personal. You know, when we get back home, and I use that, when we get back home, you know, we'll have some stories to tell that no one else can say.
That's right.
And the swivel arm, I mean, I'm sitting here, this is the first time I've been in one. It's really quiet. I mean, it makes no noise. And it's light.
Yeah.
And this thing, I mean, what does it weigh?
10 3/4 pounds.
10 3/4 pounds.
That's it. And well, as you say, the quietness is the trick, because the bear's sense of hearing, we can turn these things are swiveled, where their main swivel is, they're on 4-inch Teflon disc. So there's no ball bearings, an actual disc that's custom made just for this. And so you can actually rotate in 360 degrees once you're in the tree stand. If the bear's coming in behind you, you know, which we never know where a bear's going to come from. He may be behind you, to the right, to the left, or whatever. Yeah. And if you need to keep an eye on him, because you're just going to be maybe 7 feet above the ground.
I want to know where this bear is, you know.
So you're going to need to be turning and getting into position and looking. And with a bear that close, it's got to be absolutely quiet.
Well, that's the biggest drawback of any kind of platform. You know, I call them platforms because they look like, you know, scaffolding. Is that they're so, first of all, they're cumbersome and they're noisy. I mean, they make a lot of noise. I mean, you can't shift, and not only that, but it moves on the tree. Most of them that I've seen and read about, and the ones that I've been in, they're unstable. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't really like being in them 40 feet in the air, you know.
We were talking earlier. We were talking on the plane ride up here, on one of the plane rides up here, about the amount of pressure that will probably exert coming down on the bear.
Hundreds of pounds.
And absolutely, because we're not only just moving, we're going to actually be moving with as much weight and as much force as we can possibly get to drive the spear down through the top of the bear, hopefully as far into him as we can, and then hang on a little while.
Believe me, I'm going to hang on.
Well, we're going to get ready to go out and try it, and I think Earl McKelkey here, who's been my longtime friend for many, many years and runs the resort here, and I'm telling you, there is absolutely no way, Marshall, that I would have recommended that we go anywhere in the world and try this, other than the fact I've been here for about 10 years.
Well, you said that from all along. You said, you know, there's only one man, and that's Earl.
That's right.
You know, and the place that you're going to see the bears is the Black Bear Island, you know, hunting resort or lodge or fishing place, and it's just, I just can't get over how beautiful it is. But I want to meet Earl.
Right.
I want to meet Earl. You know.
We're going to
the king of bears. You know? Well,
he's maintained a program here of maintaining these baiting locations and so forth for these bear in a place that's so far out of the way. I mean, as you saw, we're a bush flight. We go to the end of the road, then we catch a bush plane and fly in. And for 16 years now, Earl's maintained this place. There's no residents hunting here. There's just strictly the few clients that he takes in here each year. And when you get out here, you're going to see a population of bears that you have never seen before.
You told me a story, and I want to just emphasize, you told me a story coming up. There was one night, I think you and Earl were on a stand, and 19 bears?
19, yeah.
At one time?
At one time, in sight.
All came in at the same time?
That's right.
Was it a long night?
All in view.
Was it a long night?
You worry about what kind of a machine gun you're going to use to get out of the place.
How do I get out of here? That's the question.
At this place, we won't be worrying about if there's going to be bears coming in. That's what's nice about this with our spears, because I know we're going to blow a few. I know that the bears are going to see us, you know, they're going to smell us, something's going to happen, but we don't have to worry about it, because 15 minutes later, another 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 is going to be in there.
Listen to Earl.
That's right. Listen to Earl. He's the bear man. So.
Does he really spend as much time out baiting and maintaining his bears and checking on them? And
he is here. Earl's here from the time the bear wakes up in the spring to the time he goes to sleep in the fall. So the bears are almost, I think. There's so many bears here but that's what the trick that's going to make this successful is the large amount of population of the bears that are here. We know they'll be here. We'll have a good opportunity to try this, and my wife made sure that I paid my life insurance premium before I came, so I want to make sure she doesn't collect, okay? So let's go scout out some locations. I want to meet Earl. He's up there getting some dinner ready for us, and let's go have a little talk with him in the woods, okay? Don't forget, always fasten.
Always fasten your seatbelt.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, what we're going to try to do is we're going to put the tree stand up in one of those trees.
About 12, 14 feet?
Yeah. maybe. Earl, I have a question. I'm kind of a novice at this bear hunting with a spear. Of course, I think I'm novice at bear hunting, period, but especially with a spear. Can you tell me a little bit about what to expect from the bears?
Well, there are going to be quite a number of them coming in, but one of the things is sit quietly, don't move, only if you're going to watch them in the face. So only watch if their head is down and not looking at you. Then you make your slightly move, you adjust it to
The head's down.
Yeah, when the head's down because they're not looking. But as soon as they look, anticipate their head move going to come up, you stop your movement no matter where it is.
Freeze.
Freeze.
What sizes? I mean, I've heard some stories from Dave, and I just want to know what's the range of weight, I mean, on these bears? How big do they get? I mean, I'm from Tennessee, and I know our bears there, I mean, if you get a 200-pound bear, you've really got yourself a bear. But what can we expect up here?
Springtime, 300 plus, and we get quite a few in the 500-pound range. It's as strange as it seems, and yet a lot of people don't believe it, except the ones that hunted and are successful at it.
A 500-pound black bear?
In the spring, yeah, we get a few of them. And in the fall, those same 500 will be over like 700 plus. We have weighed them out.
Does Dave know about this?
Yeah, he knows about it.
Help me put this tree stand up.
Well, after waiting quietly for over 4 hours in the swivel limb, this beautiful blonde bear comes in with another black one. It's easy to see Marshall since the Canadian regulations require all hunters wear these orange overalls. The bears circle the area licking their lips as Marshall waits patiently and quietly for just the right shot. Steady, Marshall. He's just curious and thinks you're another smaller bear which has climbed the tree.
Well, Marshall, was that exciting? Was that exciting?
Man, I can't tell you how exciting. You know, when you first mentioned I can't even talk. When you first mentioned trying to do this, what was it, 2 years ago? I said, I can't believe I finally met somebody's crazy side.
We've been telling people all the way up here about this is what we're going to do. We're going to go bear hunting. And then, you know, oh, bow, rifle. No, it's going to be with a spear.
Spear and a knife.
You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody believes this.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I got more strange looks.
It's never been done before. But
No.
you got the first one down. Now it's my turn to go try it.
You're up.
All right. Let's go get
Thank you.
this.
You bet.
All
Let's
right.
go take him out.
Well, there you saw it yourself. The first bear to ever be taken with a spear on camera. And it was done with the help of a swivel limb. Remember when we told you earlier about the silent swiveling seat on the swivel limb? Marshall had bears within mere inches of him. He had to move, but he couldn't afford to make a sound. And he didn't. The seat on the swivel limb sits on a special Teflon disc, not metal ball bearings like most other swiveling type seats. This disc allows you to swivel in absolute total silence. Plus, and this is what's really remarkable, the seat does not just spin. It requires just a little nudge to start swiveling. The reason this is so important is that you need this little resistance to be able to shoot, to turn, or to brace against. If the seat spun with no friction at all, like the ball bearing types, you'd have a difficult time shooting and keeping from just spinning around when you didn't want to. What's really an engineering marvel is that once you nudge past the initial resistance, you get a really smooth, flowing swivel, and with zero noise. Did you hear anything? Even when you shift your weight, there's no noise. Hopefully you can see what I mean, but you really have to feel it to believe it. This feature was vital to spearing bears. So was the comfort of the seat. This curved backrest on the swivel limb makes a huge difference. As you saw in the bear hunt, Marshall sat for as much as 4 hours at one time, in total comfort. The backrest supports your lower back, allowing you to sit longer. Plus, the seat is contoured. It fits the shape of your butt, and we designed the seat to be a little flexible to give it a soft feel. Marshall was amazed at how long he could sit comfortably, much longer than with other conventional tree stands. Thanks to the swivel limb's ability to move quietly and to maintain a low profile, another unbelievable feat has been attained. This never would have been possible in other tree stands that make you stick out like a sore thumb. Well, that's only half of it. The very next day, Dave finds himself waiting for the big one.
he looks like you got a good look.
Can you believe that? Look at that spear. Yeah. That's steel. That's a half-inch steel spear right there. Yeah. A lot of good long blood. There's a lot of hair. I think it was a pretty good stick, wasn't it?
That's good long. Look at this piece of long on here.
Yeah. Well, we think we spent about 15, 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
It's been about 20 minutes.
See him up here. It's about 150 feet or so.
So you think you can
Just
see
made
it?
a little circle.
Yeah, about 150 feet. That ain't bad for a spear. Wow, you think we should go try to find him now?
Yeah.
Or wait a little bit more?
About another 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll wait another 5 minutes. We'll see if we can find him. But look at that spear. You believe that? Me and Marshall will have to do a little straightening before our next one.
Yeah. That's her going around the corners. In case you want to get him around the other side of the tree.
That sure is exciting. Of course, we owe it all to the swivel lamp.
Yeah. The trees still work pretty good.
We've been talking about doing this for, 4 or 5 years now, I guess, and we finally did it.
About 89.
Yeah, well, there's nobody else I would trust other than you and your place up here at Black Bear Island Lodge to do this project with. It's just no place you can see the abundance of bears. You see how many just today I passed along, how many bears that came through there. Hey, 6 or 8 or 10 or something.
Limited amount of resorts. I think that I'm quite positive from having other hunters in that have that many bear or have them in that close.
It's unbelievable. It's just totally unbelievable. We've seen 40, 50 bears in 2 days. You know, really, we've hunted 2 evenings, and Marshall got his on the first, and that beautiful blonde bear he got on the first evening, and I got this nice black bear tonight. So he just couldn't ask for much more than that, I don't think. And I mean, what more of a challenge to do it with than a spear.